Okay, so who was your original skate crew when you moved to Lafayette?
Well, it was you, obviously. Um, Adam Williams. He acted like he skateboarded, but he really didn't. He was actually very interesting in the fact that he stood up for me when I was just a little tiny thing going into McCutcheon. That's another great story.
Yeah,
Have I told you that one?
no, but Adam's definitely an interesting dude, so it's probably good.
No, let's just say that one of the first days of school, I was walking around with a folder that had pictures of um, skateboarders that I probably pulled from Thrasher or Transworld or something. And he was like, "Oh, you skateboard?" I was like, "Yeah, why?" He's like, "Do you know how to kickflip?" Yeah, why? And we're just walking, trying to get to class. As soon as I walked in, it was probably like my second day or something. But there was a group of jocks right directly behind us, and um, they started pushing me, and they're just like, "Oh, you're a little skateboarder punk, huh?" And they literally were pushing me as we were walking forward, and yeah, I it's like, leave me alone. Just what am I doing to you? You know? And sure enough, Adam Williams turns around, looks at them. They were taller than both of us. There was four of them, and he was like, "Listen, motherfuckers, I will stab you if you keep messing with him. He's one of my friends." And I had literally just met him a few minutes before that, and they were just like, "Okay." And he's like, "I'll stab." Like
He
it was
probably
like,
would have.
yeah, exactly. He probably would have, but I was just like, holy cow, this guy's not messing around. But then, sure enough, going to Dayton and hanging out with Rob Perkins and all those crazies. I mean, I ended up meeting Tyrone, and
I think Adam might have been the person that told me. He said, "Hey, there's this little short dude. He's got skate shoes on. I think he skates." There was like a rumor in the school because there was like two or three skateboarders. So like,
at the
I think
most,
there's a kid, and somebody said he's from California and he can skateboard,
mm-hmm.
and he said he can do a kickflip. And I was like, no way, I gotta meet this dude. And I remember like
Yeah,
spending that first day looking around trying to find this kid that skated. And it's like,
I could do more than kickflips.
that must be him. Then I just remember you coming out and you could do pressure flip tricks real good, and I was like, damn,
Well, yeah, I
sick.
was influenced by obviously Julio de la Cruz and all those guys throughout the New Deal times. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, those are the tricks that we were trying to lock down. Impossibles were huge back then too. I could never get one down, but I would always try them. But yeah, I mean, you move on to flip tricks, you
Yeah.
know, like
Oh
kick flips, frontside flips.
yeah. So after you started skating here for a while, there was kind of like some different skate crews. Do you remember like anything about the LFT or
Well, yeah,
what was going on with it or whatever?
yeah. I remember. So Sixth Street was, I think, where the whole idea started. That's when Jay Hart, Tim Brannigan, and Mark Garcia used to live together, and we would always start there. Um, Hart was tattooing out of his apartment or this apartment, and yeah, we just start there and just go skate every day. I mean, we'd end up just sitting on the porch, hanging out, but then drinking beers.
What was the scene like in the village in the '90s?
Fun. Let's just say that I got myself in a lot of trouble that you probably don't even know about. Let's just say
Maybe.
there was a lot of drugs and a lot of craziness, but that would be your point to start. You would start by meeting up with friends and then going out skateboarding, then catching back up with other friends, and then going out partying, you know, Purdue and
What kind of crowd hung out around the village?
It was an eclectic crowd for sure. I mean, you got a little bit of everything: artists, ravers.
Did you ever witness any kind of
Skaters.
crazy, like, skaters versus people around the village area?
I was not. The only one that I heard about was people beating up that bouncer, but I was not there for that one.
Were you at the one where Horton filled up a cup of pee and threw it on the people above Blimpies? I swear it was you were with me,
Possibly, but
and then they all chased us down.
that sounds about
They
right.
threw beer on him when he was skating, and so he got that Taco Bell cup and just staring at him and filled it full of pee, and they threw it all over those
That
Purdue
sounds
football
like something you
players.
would do. I have so many funny stories about Horton.
Yeah, give me a good Jeremy Horton story.
Here's the one that most people don't know about. It was Jeremy Horton, Clay Hammond, and I. And Clay had a bunch of mushrooms. So he's like, let's eat mushrooms and go skate campus. So we ate mushrooms and we kind of lost track of each other. We ended up going separate directions. But yeah, once I sobered up a little bit, I started skating around all over campus looking for them. And I remember going to Cary Quad and seeing someone across the street. This is probably 4 in the morning. Sun's coming up and everything, because it was the middle of summer. But yeah, I remember running over to that person because no one was out, and sure enough, it was Horton, and he was hiding in the bushes. So I had to ask him, "What are you hiding for?" From? I'm sorry. He's like, "I thought I saw police." I was like, "Okay, come on, let's get going. We don't have to skate. We need to find Clay." And somehow we thought about going to 1010, which is, I guess it would be north, the big old um, apartment complex that has a pool. And it was his idea. Let's go take a dip in the pool. So it's like, okay, that sounds fine. Try to refresh yourself and clean yourself up. And sure enough, we find Clay Hammond in the pool, and there's poop floating around. So, yeah, we're like, we can't jump in the pool. And then after that, we ended up going to Horton's place in Battleground and just sleeping it off. That was an interesting one.
Dang. So,
Yeah,
you were saying earlier about Larry
yeah.
and naming us the Vibe Tribe. Can you go into that so people know that story? Cause,
No,
or how that, something about the Vibe Tribe with Larry?
well, that's when Baker first started coming out. And don't you remember, not only did Andrew Reynolds, but Jim Greco, they used to wear the hammer shirts.
Mm-hmm.
And we both got into it. Like, we got into that whole, mentality, as in you got to dress up to do some tricks.
Yeah.
So
Hammer shirts.
he was, yeah, well, let's just say that not only did that spark something, but there was also, him and I are brothers in the sense that we've lived together and everything. So he was an older brother, and you know how brothers argue and bicker and pick at each other. And I'm sure I'd gotten myself in some sort of trouble at home, just messing something up or, you know, just being sloppy. Um, yeah, he did not really want to skate with us because we were just, let's go film, let's do this, let's do that. When Larry's more chill, as into, let's just go have fun. And that's one of the reasons too why I don't think I got that much footage, because I was never really competitive. I just wanted to go have fun, you know. Same as Jonathan Hicks, he was never really a huge filmer. He does have a lot of footage, but he was more like, let's just go have fun. And I kind of lost my track of that mind state. But yeah, I remember asking Larry, it's like, hey, you want to go skate? He's like, no, I'm not gonna skate with you guys. It's like, you guys are like the Vibe Tribe.
Is it
I
because
think he literally came up with it on the spot. That's the
we were
first time.
vibing him because he didn't want to get down?
Yeah, he didn't want to film. He just wanted to go have fun.
He wanted
So
to
I
hit the manny pad and we wanted to hit the gats.
exactly we're trying to kill each other, like as in let's go do something crazy. But
So,
yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he came up with it on the spot, and I was just like, whoa. But we did make a small edit called Vibe Tribe Mix. I mean, sadly, I don't have the computer anymore, so I don't have any of that footage.
um, so people were saying back in the day, I used to push him to try certain tricks. Is there any trick that you did because of getting pressure from me to try to do something?
I don't think it was pressure. I think it was more that I knew that when we were filming and skateboarding, I would push myself. I wouldn't say it was pressure, it was more expectation in a sense. But you never really pressured me, but I did try some tricks that I'd never tried before and learned that I could do them. Do you remember Jeff, the half cab melon?
Yeah.
That was like one of the first times that I'd done that trick. And it was just me trying to be creative and
Do you
push myself.
remember the night at the stage where we were all skating? There was a huge session. Everybody was putting stuff down. You did the half cab heel flip perfect off that.
I do remember that. Van Smith frontside flipped it too. And no, I mean, the energy that night was amazing.
Was
It
there
was
music?
good.
Did we have a jam box there? If we did, what was
Yeah,
playing?
but I don't remember. I don't remember.
Iron Maiden or something?
Probably. That sounds about right. Especially if Van was around.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good half cab heel flip.
Well, I mean, that was a great session, period. I think
We all got clips that night.
yeah, we all did. I mean, I think that was the first time that I started getting into doing backsides. And my go to is always a front side, so I started messing around with it and doing it off the stage was kind of like an eye opener, as in, well, you can try all these different tricks. But yeah, no, it has a lot to do with the whole energy that night. I mean, we had so many great nights there too. I remember having a great night with um, Nate Old and Scott Wilson, Tyrone. Sure, Jesse was there too, and then we ended up. Oh, and Stephen Day too, because we ended up at Gemini that same night,
Oh, yeah.
just going
There's footage
crazy
of
at his co-op.
destroying that place. Yeah.
Yeah,
Try Moore jumped his head in the ceiling fan.
exactly.
Yeah, that was I got a video of that.
Yeah, we had some great sessions there. Not to mention, I would end up there just trying new tricks constantly.
Would you say that's probably your favorite spot back in the day?
I wouldn't say my favorite, but it was definitely like top 3
What would be your other
because,
two? Stupid cicadas or whatever the heck they are.
yeah, no, Tecumseh
Oh, yeah,
was
Tecumseh
definitely
is
one
pretty
because
really
it
fun.
was blocks away from my parents' place, so I'd just,
Yeah.
go there, warm up, and yeah, we had some good sessions there. And then another one would have to be, I don't know. I always like skating bumps, so it would probably be, believe it or not, 3rd Street.
Oh, yeah, that was always pretty fun.
Yeah. 3rd Street was always fun because you would have those bumps to do tricks and then that little tiny ledge. I mean, actually,
What about Kmart when it had those black plastic things?
oh, that was fun.
That was
But
super fun.
yeah, that was fun. But I didn't skate that one as much. 3rd Street was always there.
It was easy, yeah, to get to, and
Yeah. But one of my favorites was before I moved to Chicago. Chad and I would just carry his flat bar everywhere. So we would turn that into our favorite spot because you can get lines going and do everything. I was never huge into skating flat bars, but once he got his flat bar, I started skating flat bars quite a bit. And let's say that I locked down a few tricks.
Um,
on his flat bar.
what are some of like the craziest or gnarliest or best tricks you've seen go down in person in Lafayette?
In Lafayette, obviously it's you crazy fucker.
I mean, I'm saying like a session you were at, like, you know, I mean, no,
Well, I
Green
mean,
and these young kids have done shit that's like light years beyond, but I'm just saying like back in the day.
I mean, Van definitely. Um,
Yeah.
he definitely stepped up quite a bit.
Dude, that frontside flip that he did down the 8.
Down the 8.
The walking
Those
bridge.
stairs, no,
It's
those
like,
stairs are hard to skate. Period.
yeah, the brick, and then it's got
Yeah,
this big
and
crack.
then there's a big crack right in front of the 8. Like I had
Yeah.
I had trouble just doing a melancholy, which was like my favorite trick.
Yeah.
But for him to do that, that was pretty eye opening. I wish I would have had a little bit more time with Adrian, but
Steven did some pretty crazy shit, him and me.
one of the things is I wouldn't say it's the gnarliest trick, but Larry just going off on lines for
Doing a
half an
manual
hour.
for like 2 blocks.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just exaggerating, but yeah, man, him and same with Jonathan. I wouldn't say they're the gnarliest, but seriously, them being able to just keep landing tricks so consistently, I think to me that is gnarlier than anything because it takes a lot of skill to just keep going and going and going.
Oh, yeah.
Trick after trick after trick after trick. So, no, another one would have to be. I didn't see it in person, but you doing that nose manual across the Jeff wall and then dropping off. That was. I didn't even think that way at the time.
That was really. That was just hard to get the speed. It was scary. You had to go so fast and like all on that thin ledge.
I mean, I didn't even think about anything like that. So yeah, I wasn't there.
What about some of the
But
gnarly rails that Steven's done?
God, obviously all of the ones that he did in West Lafayette.
Yeah.
Sadly, I wasn't able to get any tricks down any of those rails.
I remember you trying like a half cab crook or something on the West Side 8.
Well, no,
Or half cab nose.
I was able to lock into crooked grinds constantly all
Well, I
the
have
time.
footage of you doing some kind of half cab to something you're trying.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Which is scary as fuck.
One of the things is my dumbass. Well, I didn't get hurt or anything, but I would lock into nose grinds, but I didn't document it, so it's kind of sad. That's when I was.
Any good Brannigan stories? Describe them to people who might not know him, because there might be some young kids who never met, like any of these people we're talking about.
Let's just say that his views and I, like, we're no longer close friends like we used to be, but yeah, I mean...
But him back in... You skated with him back in the 90s.
Okay.
What would a typical night going out with him be like?
Oh, God. Beer-soaked. Profanity. Dogs. LSD. Yeah. No, let me think of a good one.
He was a really good skateboarder back in the day, I thought.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, he was.
Him and
Yeah.
Glenn.
Oh, Glenn was amazing too. They both are super talented, but yeah, I mean, you know, you kind of grow apart. But what's a good one? I mean, the one that he got a bunch of fish guts and put waters in a super soaker, and he started spraying people in the village with that fish water. Do you remember that one? Where you one that once a guy hit?
No, I think he was the one who got us hit because he pooped in a cup and hid it in Hagit's house.
Yeah.
And then Hagit and her roommates, they filled up the fish guts and drove by and shot at all the skaters, and we were like, what the hell? Like, we didn't know what was going on. And then that night, remember Hart or somebody knocked out some dude's hole in the middle of the street.
Yeah, that was
I remember
around
we
the
were like
same.
little kids, were like hanging out in the back of the truck to drive over there, and it was like
Yeah,
chaos.
that's around the same time that they all lived 6th Street. So yeah, I totally remember that because both of us were in the back seat, and they're like,
Yes,
stay in the back
yeah,
seat.
yeah. I work with little kids,
But yeah,
like 15
we
or
saw that.
something or
Yeah,
14. Like, yeah, that was funny.
that's one of them. God, I have so many of them. He actually took me to his parents' place in Multucky, and he was just like, "All right, you can come in for a minute." And his dad's a war veteran, so they're set in their ways out in Milwaukee, and he actually like let me come in his house and go into his room at his parents' place when he was probably close to 30.
What's the
But
like the first time you ever met the skate geezer?
oh
Does he have?
god,
Do you guys have any lingo that you guys have created together?
no! But I remember we used to have to use the phone cards to get a ride home.
Yeah.
Don't you remember that?
But are you the one who taught him the word Gitas? That
No, he's the one that brought it up.
his famous word that he
Yep,
uses.
I ain't got the geese.
And he says, Jose is the one who got the Gitas.
Yeah, no, he's the one that created that word. But I still use the word to the day, for sure.
I use it a lot too. That's funny because like people are like, what are you talking about? I say, oh, it's just the Gitas.
Lingo.
I got the
Yep,
Gitas.
it's just lingo, for sure.
Man,
Yep.
these things are freaking
Loud.
I'm sure on the
Yeah. They're starting to shed.
But
Man, I can keep going on so
what
many
about
stories. So you never let me finish the story about Brannigan.
Okay.
Yeah. So he took me to his parents' place, and I'm sure no one has been into his room at his parents' place before. So I'm just kind of like, this is a little sketchy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like going back into the 70s because everything is just so outdated and everything. And he was like, okay, I got something. And he went and picked up his dog, and then we started driving back to Lafayette. He just gives me acid, or eating acid, driving down the street, and just skating campus on triple balls. That was one of those that was like, wow,
What age would you say you were?
probably 16.
Yeah. So, people that don't really know, like, Glenn or Clausen, can you describe their skating? Like, because a lot of people don't know, like, those dudes freaking ripped.
Yeah, are you kidding me? I mean, Glenn's skating transition was amazing. He's actually the one that made me want to push to skate more transition than anything. Jonathan tried to get me to do it too, but just watching Glenn skate was just like, holy cow, that's amazing. Ended up, so their style were completely different. Jonathan could be really technical if he wanted to be, but towards his later years, he was kind of just going with the flow, more creative, just chill. As to Glenn would definitely try to do, like kickflip indies and stuff like that. Even though I know Jonathan could do them too, because I've seen him do them. Yeah, Glenn was a little bit more transition skating wise, and I got to see that when he first started moving to Dayton to go to school. I'd actually ride out there with him and go skate parks with him. There's the Dayton, Ohio skate park.
Yeah. Dodge Park, I think.
Dodge, yep.
Yeah.
That was Dodge. Yeah, we'd go there. Then he'd take me to street spots and stuff. But yeah.
You got any good Stephen Day stories?
So many of them.
What's your best one?
Well,
describe Stephen.
Well, first of all, Stephen, don't you remember when we first met him?
I haven't.
We were skating the village, and then he shows up on a skateboard that looks all dilapidated, but we're just like, oh, you know how to ollie? You know how to kickflip? And then he did a kickflip. We're just like, oh, you know how to skate. And there's those big 6 stairs at the village
Yeah, I
that
remember.
we're just like, oh,
I know, crashing
let's
to a
see,
wall.
yeah, let's see you ollie them. And sure enough, he went straight for it. I mean,
I feel like
he
he
was,
tried it for like 2 hours and just kept sticking and crashing into the wall.
yeah, we're just like,
And we gave him a
uh,
Pepsi to do it or something.
yeah, it was something crazy like that.
Yeah, it was like, dude, we'll give you
But
this Pepsi if you
he's
ollie
just,
those.
let's just say he's very persistent and very talented, though. Um, One of my funniest stories that I have about Steven has nothing to do with skateboarding. Yeah. So he came to visit me in Chicago one day, and I was getting off work pretty early. So I was like, yeah, let's go have some dinner. And I was going to take him to a fancy restaurant. And of course, he's like, how can you afford all this stuff? I was like, dude, relax. I know the chef. He's my roommate. Um, but we ended up going to John Hancock Center for him to get his iPad fixed for some reason. Oh yeah, I had a crack on the screen when I had his name already etched in it and everything. And so we had to wait for a while at the Apple store that used to be there. So I'm just like, all right, just chill out. Let's look around. And after a couple of hours of it getting fixed, first thing he does once we step outside, it was still really packed outside downtown Chicago. Swings his backpack over his shoulder, and there goes this newly fixed iPad in there. And it seriously was slow motion. I look around, there is hundreds of people just getting to him from work or, shopping or whatever. And sure enough, everyone's just looking at it in the air. Like, it's all in slow motion. And sure enough, it shattered. It's like, seriously, Steven? No, but all the other stories that I have about him, he's pretty wholehearted, very wholesome. So it's not like we did anything too crazy. I mean, craziest things that we did were just run away from the cops. He was definitely huge for letting me crash at his parents' place and just to wake up and go skate campus. Heather made the best breakfast too. Um, Harlan was always nice, and then we'd stay up till like 3 in the morning just watching skate videos. I don't think I have any crazy stories about him because he's very straight-laced guy. I've had a couple great dinners with him. That's just anything.
Is there anything else you want to say? We'll wrap this up.
Yeah, it's starting to get
Well, these things are starting
loud.
to go insane.
Loud and late. Yeah.
Anything you want to say to the future rippers?
Yeah, he killed it. I mean, everyone's doing great. Austin Bland and obviously Adrian, and I'm sure you guys are still skating. When are you gonna come up and skate Grant?
I don't skate.
Grant Park is so fun.
It's too hard for me to skate these days.
Same here. I mean, you have 3 children, but yeah.
All right, Jose.
All right,
See you later, dude. Peace.